Yes, children. Happy morning. Hope you all are doing good. Okay. So in the last class, children, we have seen about the same chapter, that is the rise of nationalism in Europe. And in the last session, we have seen about the unification of Germany and unification of Italy. So in today's class, we are going to see about the unification of Britain. Okay. So in today's class, let us see about the unification of Britain. So in your textbook they have told that just a unification of German they have introduced, unification of the Italy they have said, but only when we come to the unification of Britain they have mentioned that the strange case of Britain. Why they have mentioned like that? Why it is so strange? Because compared to this Italy and Germany, this the language which they were using and the culture they were following was almost similar, only the dialects were different. But here coming to the Britain, it was not like that. Okay, so it was not so easy. So that is what here they told, like a strange case of Britain. See here, the formation of British nation not due to sudden revolution. So here it is not immediately like German unification and the unification of Italy. It was such a long process. Okay, it is not a sudden revolution, and it was a culmination of a long drawn out process. So as I told you people, it is just a dragging process, long process to unify this Britain. And earlier to this 18th century, there was no the idea of this British nation. There was no British nation was exist till 18th century. Okay, hope you guys understood, right? So till 18th century there was no the British nation was available. Okay, and the next thing we're going to see here, as I told you people, compared to other the nations, here they involve the many kinds of ethnic groups. What do you mean by this ethnic groups, children? So the culture which they will be following, the background which they will be coming, okay, the languages, everything was different. Okay, see here, the Welsh was there, Scots were there, Irish was there, the English people was there. Okay, so here the many varieties of the ethnic people were there. See here, the British is comprised 4 ethnic groups. So which are those 4 ethnic groups? One, it is the Welsh, Scots, Irish and even the English people, and consisted of Welsh, Scot, Irish and the English people had their own individual culture and the political traditions. So they are different in their cultural practices and even the political traditions also. You guys are understanding, right? So that is a reason they mentioned that the strange case of Britain. Okay. Yes. And the next is the England steadily grew in wealth, importance and power. So the main idea, this England was already, quite the wealthy nation. So it was steadily grew in wealth, importance and even the power. And English Parliament chief instrument in creation of England centric nation state. So already what happened here, children, they were already a wealthy, and they were more important and even the powerful country. And this English Parliament chief instrument in creation of a England. So they were in the part of this creation of England centric nation state. So they were wanted to get this power, they wanted to achieve this economic development, the financially stable. Okay, so that again we will be we have already seen in our the colonization and all those things. Okay, see here. So after that, with the idea of that, they wanted to become more powerful, they wanted to achieve the more economical, the power, and even the politically they wanted to be a strong, the people. So finally, later what they did, this English Parliament, they started with the Act of Union in the year of 1707. Okay, the Act of Union in the year of 1707. So as a result of this union, see, resulted in the formation of the UK, that is United Kingdom. So till that they were calling it as the Great Britain. So now it is a United Kingdom, and England imposed its influence on Scotland. So later what happened? Even they tried to acquire the Scotland also forcefully, and they are very brilliant people and very smart, the people. Okay, so finally even they started to impose its influence on the Scotland also, and the British Parliament dominated by English. So finally they started to dominate by English. English became the major, the language there. Okay, then the effects on Scotland. So finally, as I told you, people, they acquired even the Scotland. So after that, what happened? They started to, the repression of Scotland's distinctive culture. So whatever the, the distinctive culture they already had, the Scotland had, they started to suppress that. And the Catholic clans of Scottish, the Highlands suffered repression when they tried to become independent. So when they wanted to become independent, they started to suppress. So they made English, and the English was a dominating. And then the Scottish Highlanders, the forbidden to speak their, the Gaelic language or wear their national dresses. So even they did not have rights to speak their own language, that is called as a Gaelic language, and even they didn't have a rights even to speak their, wear their national dress also. And several often them the forcibly driven out of the, the several of them forcibly driven out of their homeland. So the many people they forced and they pushed out of the homeland also. Yes, children. So finally we understood that. So due to this, the union. So due to the union of the 1707, what happened? The treaty between this people, the English people and the Scotland. So resulted in the, the formation of this United Kingdom. So after that, what happened? This English people started to suppress this, the idea of the Scotland people, and even they did not have any rights to speak their Gaelic language, or they did not have rights to wear their national dress, and many of those people were forcefully thrown out of their homeland. So these are all the lot of problems this Scotland people were facing. And the next thing, what happened? The fate of Ireland. So what happened? The next, immediately after the Scotland, this, the people wanted to acquire the Ireland, or they wanted to take the control over even the Ireland also. So there, what happened in Ireland, the people were divided into two major groups, the two categories. They divided into two categories. One, it is the Catholics, and the one more, it is Protestants. And the one was a minority and the one more was a majority. The Catholics were the majority people and the Protestants were the minority people there. Okay, so there what happened? Just imagine, children, just understand here the idea of this, the English people. So here what happened? They finally they tried to help these Protestants because they were the minority people, and already the Catholics were the majority people. They were enjoying the, the maximum what we'll call The priorities was there, powers was there, and they were dominating the minority people. Okay, so that is the reason the English people did not approach the Catholics to unify the Britain, because already they were powerful. They did not want anyone to join. That is the reason these people are very cunning and the smart people. This English people help the Protestants. They are the minority people, and they were the poor people compared to this Catholics and the minority people. So that is the reason finally this Protestants, they try to help this English people. So finally, see here, the English helped Irish Protestants to establish dominance over the whole country. So finally, as a result of that, they established the dominance over the entire country, the whole country, Ireland. Okay. The Catholic revolts. So finally, the Catholic people started to revolt against this, including one by the oath turn suppressed. So finally what happened? Their revolution or their revolt did not succeed. So finally what happened? Even Ireland went with the hands of British. That is the English people. Okay, hope you guys understood, right? So coming to the Scotland, you have to remember about the union, that is 1707 union. That is a treaty they had with the Scotland. And the next thing it is, forcefully this the English people started to acquire this Ireland. Okay, see here, emergence of new British nation. So finally what happened? Again this the Ireland also, the forcefully they started to acquire. See here, the Ireland forcibly incorporated into United Kingdom in 1801. So finally they it incorporated into United Kingdom in 1801. And then new British nation forced through the propagation of dominant English culture. So finally what happened? Whatever the Scottish people was there, whatever the Irish people were there, everyone forcefully started to dominant by this English culture. Okay, hope you guys are understanding. No children, this is the unification of Britain. So here you can see about the map of United Kingdom. Okay, yes. And the next thing we can see about the symbols of Britain actively promoted. So later what happened? They started to promote only their the symbols. One, it is the British flag, that is a Union of Jack. This is the one you can see here. The English national anthem, that is the God Save Our Queen, that is the one, and they started forcefully. Everyone has to accept that. And the English language. Okay, and the older nations remained subordinate partners in union. So finally what happened? The older nations remained as a subordinate partners in the union. So hope you guys understood about the unification of Britain. Okay, so this was a strange case compared to other German and Italy coming to the unification. Okay, so after that what happened? They till the around 18th century there was no the country called the idea of the nation of Britain. Okay, later that only they started, and that time they had the 4 ethnic groups, and after that they they made this union of the 1707 treaty with the Scotland, and after that they acquired even the Ireland forcefully by supporting the minority groups. And finally this Catholics, that the majority groups lost the revolution, so finally this British people, this English people started to dominate all of them. They did not have rights even to use their language, that is speak their language, wear their national dresses. So forcefully the symbols of Britain started to promote. That is the Britain flag, English language, English national anthem, everything.